you coming from? A long road and the money's gone. All the games where you played your part from the very start just to come this far. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it up now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. Your destiny is victory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, 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 yeah, yeah. Baby, you were born to win. You set it up and you knock it down. You're all set now to rock this town. You don't really need to play it low. Just get up and go. This is all your show. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it off now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. Your destiny is victory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, 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 yeah, yeah. Baby, you were born to win. Cause baby, you were born to win. Born to win. Your destiny is victory. Baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. Your destiny is victory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, 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 yeah, yeah. Baby, you were born to win. I know where you're coming from. A long road and the money's gone. All the games where you played your part from the very start just to come this far. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it up now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. Your destiny is victory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, 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 yeah, yeah. Baby, you were born to win. You set it up and you knock it down. You're all set now to rock this town. You don't really need to play it low. Just get up and go. This is all your show. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it off now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to coming from. A long road and the money's gone. All the games where you played your part from the very start just to come this far. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it off now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. Kick it off now and bring it on. This will be your destiny. It's victory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, you were born to win. You set it up and you knock it down. You're all set now to rock this town. You don't really need to play it low. Just get up and go. This is all your show. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it off now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. Your destiny is victory. Yeah, 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 baby, you were born to win. Cause baby, you were born to win. Born to win. Your destiny is victory. Baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. Your destiny is victory. Yeah, 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 baby, you were born to win. I know where you're coming from. A long road and the money's gone. All the games where you played your part from the very start just to come this far. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it off now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. Your destiny is victory. Yeah, 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 baby, you were born to win. You set it up and you knock it down. You're all set now to rock this town. You don't really need to play it low. Just get up and go. This is all your show. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it off now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. coming from a long road and the money's gone. All the games where you played your part from the very start just to come this far. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it off now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. Your destiny is victory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, 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 yeah, yeah. Baby, you were born to win. You set it up and you knock it down. You're all set now to rock this town. You don't really need to play it low. Just get up and go. This is all your show. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it off now and bring it on. This will be your day. 'Cause baby, you were born to win. Never give up, never give in. You were born to win. Your destiny is victory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby,
jiena naħseb.
Hello everyone and welcome to Vallelunga for our last race of 2018, this one being a Ginetta Super Cup G55 race here at the Vallelunga circuit. We have several drivers just preparing on the server at the minute, and we're going to have a fascinating race today. We had a very similar one at about this time last year at the Road Atlanta circuit, and if that one is anything to go by, this one is going to be very, very entertaining indeed. So while I'm just waiting for the server to load up for me, we're currently in a non-official practice session, I believe, just about to start the official practice for this event. We're then going to have the official practice, which is going to take 10 minutes, followed by a 20-minute qualifying session, and then we are going to have the 20-lap race at the Vallelunga circuit on the Assetto Corsa sim racing platform. This race, of course, hosted by World Pro Racing, and joining me today, our usual panel of experts and officials, including Adrian Figallo and Justin Mifsud, and our live race stewards. It's a fantastic lineup that we always have for the World Pro Racing series. It's very professional, and you can watch it on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're live on all three, so make sure to tune in on your favorite social media platform, and we hope you enjoy this event from start to finish.
Thanks, Joshua. Thanks for being with us once again this evening for the last race, as you said, of the 2018 season from World Pro Racing here at Vallelunga with the Ginetta GT4s. Definitely was a quite a busy year for us, looking for a much busier year in 2019 with various championships and also casual races and special events. So as you said, today will be starting in 4 minutes with the official practice, which will be 10 minutes. Then we have a 20-minute qualification session and a 20-lap race here at the Vallelunga circuit. So as I said earlier, this year was a busy year for World Pro Racing. It's actually the first full year of World Pro Racing. We're looking at a very busy year next year. With various championships. One of them, obviously enough, we have the qualifications which are still running, which we extended till the end of the year, which is the grip series, which will run over 6 rounds. We'll have the first 5 rounds where the drivers know which rounds are in these particular tracks in Italy, and the last round will be a special round where we will publish the circuit just a week before the race. It's a great championship because the winner will win a full day of testing at Varano circuit with the grip car itself. So that's definitely a great thing to win when you will be pampered like a real driver. More championships are in the pipeline for the coming year. Definitely will be publishing soon certain details and also special races for 2019. So stay with us. We'll be starting the official practice session in just 3 minutes.
Yes, we're just preparing to start. Not long to go now. We've already got several drivers on the server. We're using the full Vallelunga circuit today. We didn't when we drove here with the Grip G1 cars a little while ago, but yeah, we are back to the full circuit today, and we're just preparing for the start of the official practice session now. Currently at the top of the times I see. Actually, I don't see a thing because there's a strange pop-up on my screen, but when I'll be able to see it, I'll let you know. But yeah, the full Vallelunga circuit, known for being a very fast, very sweeping one. There are several tight corners, but they're all kind of long radius, meaning the average speed of this circuit is much higher than one would expect, and that leads to a lot of slipstreaming, and that leads to a lot of high energy, high adrenaline racing. But that's not to say there's no opportunity for overtakes, because with the number of long straights and the number of hairpins, this is indeed a real racer's track, a real overtaking track, and it should be very, very entertaining. So currently at the top of the times, we have two of our South African drivers, Bashir Jadwat and Marcus Stein. They're currently 1-2 on the server at the minute, followed by Michael Martin, Alex Leaf, and Jonathan Bentz. But of course, we have not started the official practice session yet, so these times are completely unofficial as they stand, and we still have a couple of minutes until the official practice will start. I believe we're going to be going into that in about a minute's time. And another driver to look out for today is going to be the Brazilian driver, Tiago Pontes. He's just gone to second in the order in this unofficial practice session as well. Several names I recognise in the field alongside them, including Josh Martin, who won our Formula One race, Formula One 1986 race that we did a little while ago. And I also recognise the name Ross McFarlane. He's quite famous in the world of sim racing in general. I believe he helped to develop this mod or something along those lines. He certainly had something to say with what we're doing today. Dean Vella has raced with us in the past. Did he win one of our Grip G1 races? He may have done. I think he was there on that day. No, I don't think he won one, but he certainly raced with us before. And alongside him, many new races. I don't recognise Bashir Jadwat or Marcus Stein, Tiago Pontes, Chris Heineke. All of those drivers are new. And it's great to see such a mix of experience and new drivers here today. And good to see the attention that World Pro Racing is attracting for this final race of the 2018 season. Official practice has now begun, and the first driver out onto the track is going to be, it's not Bashir Jadwat, there's a car ahead of him. I believe it was Alex Life, who is our first driver on track in this session, and who will show us around this Vallelunga circuit for the first time. And he runs off the road down at the bottom end of the course, turn 3. Although everything back under control for Alex Life. The Vallelunga circuit, of course, is one that World Pro Racing has raced at before. We raced here with the Grip G1 cars on the shorter circuit a little while ago, and then we did the longer circuit as well with our official Porsche GT4 championship a little while ago. And the circuit, of course, was first built as a sand oval in 1959 rather, and it hosted non-championship Formula One races back in the 60s and 70s. Nowadays, it's hosting more modern events, mainly specific to Italy. It's a bit of a shame, really, seeing as it's such a high-tech circuit. It's a bit of a shame it doesn't host many international races, but at least it's hosting quite a significant sim race here today. And the track will definitely see its fair share of action this time around. So first laps coming in now. Who's going to set the benchmark? Actually, these aren't the first laps coming in. Ignore me. These are just the out laps. It's going to be Bashir Jadwat starting our first flying lap here today as he heads through the first part of the corner. Turn 2 is known as Curva Grande, and then the two right-handers that he's about to break into now are Chimney 1 and Chimney 2. Plenty of different lines you can take through there. You can keep it tight, you can drive it wide, although be sure to use a lot of the exit curb. Now up the hill towards turn 7, Campagnano. I hope I'm saying that right. And this is the first proper hairpin of the track, although it's a very long one, barely recognisable as a hairpin when you're driving it. And it's important, again, to get a very good exit as there's another long straight before Serrati, the left-hander at turn 8. Technically a hairpin, but again doesn't feel like one. Now you have two sweepers, left at 9, right at 10, before you brake into the next braking zone at Semaforo, turn 11. This is the first little hairpin of a new segment of corners, or a relatively new segment of corners that was introduced in, I think, 2004 to slow the cars down. That's the left-hander hairpin at Torrentino. And now we head through the S's at turns 13 and 14. And the final corner will be the long uphill right-hand hairpin sweep called Roma. So called, I believe, because it's pointing towards the city of Rome. Now, onto the start-finish straight again. And our first lap is going to be a 1:38.646. That's the benchmark there set by Bashir Jadwat. Dean Vella goes second now with a 1:39.940, over a second off. So still plenty of times to be set. Josh Martin goes second, 1:39.676, still a second off. And Bashir Jadwat has put down a good opening lap there, the South African driver. Second place now goes to another South African driver, Marcus Stein. We saw that he was second in the non-official practice session just now as well. And he's gone second again with a 1:39.526. That's just over 8 tenths of a second off, almost 9 tenths off. And Bashir Jadwat again goes fastest in the first sector. So Jadwat very much controlling this session in the early stages. Although plenty of time to go. We're not even halfway through yet. And still drivers setting their first time laps as well. Still yet to see anything from Chris Heineke, yet to see anything from Ross McFarlane, Michael Martin, Sean Clark and Warren Berkhuizen, as well as Mark Hennebury, Luca Ragusa, and a driver simply known as Jamie, who is still in the pits along with Tim Hines. Bashir Jadwat again going faster in the first and second sectors. Ross McFarlane goes second with a 1:39.110. And here comes Bashir Jadwat again to go even faster and to control this session even more. It's a 1:38.640. That's the new benchmark. A great lap there from Jadwat. Alex Leaf now goes up to third with a 1:39.521. And at this point in the session, we have South African driver first, followed by Scottish, and then English, and then Scottish again. Before Marcus Stein now jumps up to second. 1:38.960, just over 3 tenths of a second off Bashir Jadwat. Still Jadwat controlling this session, although it is only practice. Doesn't affect the qualifying order. Just under 4 minutes to go of this session now. It's gone past very, very quickly. Not much official practice time, but that's because this is just an opportunity for drivers to get up to speed before the official qualifying session, which is coming up very shortly. This should effectively be treated as a warm-up session. Ross McFarlane's about to put in a flyer here, a big improvement, although he doesn't get the best exit to Roma, and he goes second with the fastest third sector of anyone. It's a 1:38.836, just 0.196 off Bashir Jadwat. And now he's got traffic holding him up going on to the next lap. So this might be a hampered lap for Ross McFarlane, but he went up to second with the last attempt. Alex Leaf is about to take a chunk out of his time as well, but he's being held up into Roma. Gets past the back marker and accelerates out of the corner. He's going to take about 1/10 of a second off his lap. And he does, but he does not move up to third place. He still needs to find over 4/10 of a second to do so. There's a real split there between third and fourth positions in this order as it stands. And still we're waiting for some drivers to set their first laps. About to see one coming in from Chris Heineke, who is one of our 4 South African drivers here today. And Chris Heineke comes out of the final corner to set his first lap. This appears to be a pretty good one, actually. This is definitely going to put him in the top 10, and it puts him 5th. So Heineke goes 5th. It's South Africa, UK, South Africa, UK, South Africa, UK at the top of this order at the minute. Seems to be a real rivalry of countries going on there. With Chris Heineke's latest lap putting him up into 5th position. Michael Martin there was going to go quicker, but he makes a slight mistake coming out of Torrentino. Still looks pretty quick though. Ross McFarlane's most recent lap was not good enough to move him up to 1st place. However, he did again set the fastest 3rd sector of anyone. So McFarlane looks very quick in the 3rd sector of this course, but Jadwat has the legs on him in both the 1st and 2nd sectors so far. Martin's lap was not an improvement in the end. It looked as if it was going to be Michael Martin rather. I'm wondering whether Michael Martin's related to Josh Martin. They're both from the UK. With Michael Martin running under the Union Jack and Josh Martin running under the Scottish flag. I'm not entirely sure though, so don't take my word for that. First lap about to, first properly competitive lap about to come in from Jamie as well. Jamie on his first attack in his 1st sector hasn't looked great. Big improvement coming in from Stefan Elfgen though. He's currently in 14th place. He's about to move himself a couple of positions up the order. Almost a second up, and he goes 12th. So an improvement, but he's still got a bit of time to find if he wants to challenge the top 10. Fastest 2nd sector of anyone coming in from Ross McFarlane now, but his 1st sector was off. What can he do in the final sector? This is where he's really quick. He's actually got another car glued to his tail, so I reckon he was held up. And it was not an improvement from McFarlane. It was a quick 2nd sector, but his 1st and 3rd were off. As the checkered flag now comes out, just now, in this 10-minute session, which has now come to an end, that means the laps that the drivers are on now will be their last attempt. Jadwat is in the pits, as is Stein. Alex Leaf has just been knocked down to 5th place by Thiago Pontes. Tim Haynes jumps up to 6th. Leaf is about to try to improve again. And he will improve, but he won't jump Pontes. Or Pontes, rather. Pontes himself appears to be improving on his lap at the minute, as well as Josh Martin. Those are some laps to watch as it stands. Although right at the end of the practice session, the finishing order here will not affect the race starting order, as this is only official practice. However, it will give us an indication of who might be quick in the qualifying session, which is the session that really does matter. Through Torrentino goes Josh Martin, and he drifts a bit on the entrance, 4-wheel drift, and that did not help him in that hairpin there. So a lap that's been hampered slightly there for Josh Martin. Ross McFarlane might also be about to improve. He's just ahead of Martin at this point in time. On track, that is. And indeed, this will be an improvement from McFarlane. Does this put him up to 1st? No, it doesn't. To 138.805. And Josh Martin himself, I believe, did improve right at the end as well, but that did not move him up the order. So at the end of... Oh, it did. 1 place. He moved out of Chris Heineke, rather. So at the end of the 10-minute practice session, Bashir Jadwat set the pace, followed not too far behind by Ross McFarlane. Then it was Marcus Stein, Thiago Pontes, Alex Leif, Tim Haynes, Josh Martin, Chris Heineke, Dean Vella, Michael Martin, and then just outside of the top 10, Marco Perricone, Stefan Elfgen, Jonathan Bentz, Warren Buchhazen, or Barkhuizen, there you go, and then Jamie and Sean Clark round out the 16 drivers who set laps in that session. Drivers who are registered on the server who did not set laps include Mark Henneberry and Luca Ragusa. So there were 2 drivers there in positions 17 and 18 who did not end up setting laps there, Mark Henneberry and Luca Ragusa. And I'm not entirely sure whether they're going to be going out in qualifying or not. We will find out in just under a minute when we get the green light for the qualifying session. So 40 seconds to go now until we get the green light. Look out for the South African drivers near the front of the order. Jabwat and Stein both look very quick, with Chris Heineke looking as if he can improve, as well as the Scottish drivers, Josh Martin and Ross McFarlane. And the other Brits, Alex Leith and Tim Hines, putting in some strong performances there. They make up the top 8. The only driver who isn't from the UK or from South Africa in the top 8 was Thiago Pontes from Brazil. He was in 4th position at the end of that session. And then the top Maltese driver, of course this league based in Malta rather, was Dean Vella in 9th position. Now the qualifying session has begun. We will get 20 minutes of action on track here, and the drivers are heading out onto the circuit now. First out will be Ross McFarlane. So Ross McFarlane leads us out of the pits and through the Curva Grande for the first time here. And he will be our first driver to go onto a lap, providing he doesn't give way to anyone on this opening lap of the session. Make sure you tune in on your favourite social media platform. We have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have Twitch. We are streaming on all 3 of them. Looking at the YouTube chat, Jamal Gandor says, "Happy festive season, World Pro Racing." Happy festive season to you too, Jamal. And then we also have YXIMAI saying, "We're watching from Rajasthan in India." Well, hello to you from India, and welcome into our stream. And if you're watching on Facebook or Twitch as well, make sure that you leave a comment, and I will be reading out the interesting ones throughout the course of this race event. Hello to everyone tuning in at the minute. And we don't have much time now until we get to see our first couple of qualifying laps being set. Ross McFarlane looks as if he's going to be the first driver to go onto a flying lap. Remember, he was just second in practice, meaning he's going to be one of our contenders for this event, and that's why he wanted to get out and start setting laps as quickly as he can. He wants to catch that lap set by Bashir Jadwat. And here he goes onto his first flying lap through the Curva Grande, officially counting as turn 2, but really should be turn 1. Turn 3 now, down towards Chimney, the first braking zone of the lap. There's Chimney 1, the second apex is Chimney 2, runs slightly over the white line, but he won't get an invalid lap for that one. And up the hill he goes towards Campagnano. So far it's looking relatively clean. That's a good first sector, although already beaten by Marcus Stein. So Stein behind him, already going 2 tenths up in the first sector with the more solid first sector, and someone's just beaten him as well. It's Chris Heineke. So Chris Heineke also one to look out for, with a first sector under 33 seconds. That's pretty good at this stage. And at the minute, the laps look as if they're going to be between McFarlane, Stein and Heineke, as well as Mark Hennebury, who puts in a good first sector. And Michael Martin, not bad in the first sector either. Alex Leith, just under that. Thiago Pontes, very good. McFarlane, not a great second sector there, a couple of mistakes. And I can imagine that this isn't going to be McFarlane's quickest lap of the session. Here he comes out of Roma, and his first flying lap is going to be the benchmark for the session. I can imagine only until Marcus Stein crosses the line. It's a 1:39.060. Marcus Stein goes 1:38.957 and tops the time so far. Just 0.103 in it though. Marco Perricone sets the 3rd lap. He goes 3rd. 4th lap comes in. Dean Vella goes 3rd, 1:39.788. Tim Hines, 1:39.654. That's the new 3rd place. Almost 7 tenths off Stein. Thiago Pontes 3rd, 1:39.355. Just 0.398 off McFarlane. Off Stein rather. And more laps coming in. McFarlane already improving 2/10 in the first sector. Tim Hines already improving 2/10 in the first sector. McFarlane 4/10 up. As we have a real race here for the quicker times. Bashir Jabwat only goes third on his opening lap. The driver who topped the times in practice, 1:39.204. Just 0.247 behind Stein, but we know he's quicker than that. McFarlane, quickest of anyone in the second sector, just as he was in the first session in practice. It's his first sector, he really needs to find time in. And McFarlane coming through the final corner, looks as if he's about to go to pole position provisionally, as we've elapsed 5 minutes of this session. Bashir Jadwat goes fastest in the first sector by over 2/10 of a second. McFarlane's about to set his lap. 1:38.721. That's exactly what he set. Pretty much. Oh, it's quicker than what he set in practice. So McFarlane improves on his practice time, goes to first. 0.236 ahead of Micah Stein, but Bashir Jabwat is quickest of anyone in the first sector. He's about to be quickest of anyone in the second sector. Thiago Pontes is improving, and he goes first. Pontes, 1:38.645. Just slower than Jadwat's first session time. And talking of Jadwat, he's about to trumpet. Here he comes through the final corner now, and Bashir Jabwat is about to go almost a second up on his previous lap. Oh, slight twitch on the exit, but it's still a very fast lap. Jabwat goes first, 1:38.361, and that's the fastest lap we've seen yet today. Bashir Jabwat, fastest in the first sector, fastest overall. But Thiago Pontes already improving his personal best. We have a real battle up the front of the order. 0.284 separate Jabwat and Pontes at this point in time. So it's Jabwat first, Pontes second, then it's McFarlane, Stein, Heinz, Vella, Martin, Leif, Martin, and Barkhuizen. Rather. Michael Martin now goes up into 10th position. Who just improved? Ross McFarlane just improved. Up to second, 1:38.631. Great performance. Just 0.270 off Bashir Jadwat. So it's now Jabwat, McFarlane, Pontes up the front of the order. I always think there's an I in Pontes' name, and there isn't. It's just Pontes. And the next quick lap appears to be coming in from Chris Heineke, who improved in the first sector. Big improvement in the first sector, and I know that Heineke is capable of far more than his lap. I reckon he probably got held up on his flying lap there, because it's a long way down. Michael Martin jumps him now up into 8th. And Heineke, I'm not sure which sector he lost the time in, but I think he's about to find that time. I wonder where the second sector split is. I think it's on the exit, or it's actually on the entrance of Torrentino there. Mark Hennebury goes up into 6th place now. That's actually his first lap, because I don't believe Hennebury set a lap in the first session in practice. Indeed, he didn't. Oh, big slide there. Big slide from Chris Heineke, and that's a shame, because he was definitely going to improve on his lap, and he looks as if he's still going to improve, but without that slide, surely he's going to go about half a second up. Oh, and it's not an improvement, it's actually down there, just at the end. Not far off though, but just down. I'm interested though in Tim Hines' lap. Tim Hines, 5th at the minute, about to find 4/10 of a second. Will this move him up to 4th place? It all depends on what he does in the final corner here. Loses time on the exit, but no, I think that's just because he was braking. He gains time on the exit rather. And Tim Hines doesn't quite go up to 4th. He's just off it. Less than half a tenth of a second off it though. And Jabwat and McFarlane are both improving. Jabwat and McFarlane both improving in the race for pole. Jabwat in the S's. He needs a good exit here, and he gets one. That's a good exit. Through the final corner he goes. He's about to improve his pole lap further, is he? Depends on the exit here as well. It looks good. Looks very good. He's about to go a 10th up. Bashir Jabwat, 138.231. That's 0.4 of a second exactly ahead of Ross McFarlane. But what can McFarlane do on this lap? He's improving. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead of him. Will that affect him? That's not a good line in Torrentino. It was too fast in. And he slipped wide mid-corner. Through the S's. Finding time going onto the gravel. He bounced 2 wheels on the gravel, and this won't be an improvement. We are now halfway through this session, 10 minutes to go. And it's Jabwat from McFarlane, from Pontes, from Stein, Heinz, Heineke, Leif, Hennebury, Vella and Martin. Josh Martin, that is, in 10th place, one of the 2 Martins in the session. Just under 10 minutes to go now. Dean Vella about to improve. He's in 9th place currently. Can he find the time to go up to 8th? This is looking good for him. And I think this will be 8th. No, not quite. Just off. Dean Vella just off that position. Still 9th, but it was an improvement. Pretty average first sector there for Tiago Pontes as well. Pontes still running 3rd though. Just on the cusp of his time. Mark Hennebury about to improve, is he? Looks possible. He's coming through the final corner now. And that wasn't a great entrance to the corner, but will it be a good exit? Might be. It's going to be close to his lap. And I think it will be up. And it was, but not enough to put him up into 7th position. He's got to find another 10th and a bit for that. And no more improvements coming in just at this minute. The driver's just regrouping and starting new flying laps at this point in time. Pontes, Stein and Heinz have just started new laps. Actually, Stein's down, but Pontes and Heinz have definitely started new laps, as has Mark Hennebury. Hennebury looking okay in the 2nd sector. And good to see David Carter in the YouTube chat. Carter's a commentator I believe I've worked with in the past. Hello, David. Good to see you tuning in today. And I hope you enjoy the race coming up in just a couple of minutes. And we do have a couple of people on the Facebook stream as well. And now let's watch Mark Hennebury, because he's in the final sector at the minute. And really challenging Alex Leaf's sectors on this lap. Yeah, this is looking good from Mark Hennebury. He's currently 8th in the session. Hasn't set his quickest 1st or 2nd sectors, but it's been so close that this final sector looks as if it might save the lap. Not anymore. Not anymore. Big slide. He got on the inside curb. And he had all the grip in the world until he had none. And it almost went around. He did well to hang on to it, but it was really pointless that he did, because the lap in the end was a goner. So no improvement there from Mark Hennebury, but he certainly is showing the potential to jump ahead of Alex Leif, and he's going to have to do it quickly as well, because Dean Vella is improving. Dean Vella currently 9th, just behind Mark Hennebury, although putting in some quicker sectors so far. New lap started now from Bashir Jadwat, and I'll be keeping an eye intently on his sectors this time around. Jabwat still at the top of the time by by 0.4 of a second. That's a pretty big margin at this circuit. So a pretty good lap, or a very good lap, blisteringly good from Bashir Jabwat so far. Dean Vella is improving quite significantly at this point in time. In fact, he's challenging the top 6 maybe. This is really good from Dean Vella. Got a couple of cars up ahead of him. They don't look as if they're going to be affecting him at this point in time. In fact, they might give him a distant tow across the line. Let's see. 4 tenths up from Dean Vella. This is good. And he goes 6th. I told you he was challenging the top 6, and he does. He goes 6th. He jumps Heineke, he jumps Life, he jumps Hennebury. Although Heineke improving by a couple of tenths so far. Tiago Pontes as well, looking capable of improvement. And Pontes going up the hill, improving by almost a tenth of a second at this point in time. Through Curva Grande goes Tim Hines. He's just started a new lap. There are a couple of drivers we really need to keep an eye on. Oh, Josh Martin! Josh Martin going half a second up at this point in time. He's 10th. And I always knew he was capable of more. Now he's challenging the top 6, probably. Ross McFarlane goes quickest in the second sector, but that's an 8 lap. So really no point for Ross McFarlane at this point in time. He's just showing everyone what he's capable of, as Josh Martin comes out of the final corner now, and he's going to improve by several tenths of a second. He's 10th, and he's 8th. Great improvement. He jumps Life and Hennebury. Apologies for that, I was distracted momentarily, but Tiago Pontes, I've just noticed, is on a quick lap, and that's a good good final corner. He's hooked it up, but it's not going to be quick enough. Oh, he's losing time on the exit, I'm afraid. Tiago Pontes losing time on the exit. No, gaining time on the exit. No, never mind, he's down. Ignore me. He's down on his lap. New lap started from Ross McFarlane in his challenge for pole. And he's a 10th up in the first sector, on his time that is, not on Jabwat's. He's about 2 tenths down on Jabwat's time still. Going now towards, what part of the track's this? This looks like no, it's not Torrentino, that's actually the left-hander at turn 8. So he'll be just approaching the first sweeping sector of the course and the hairpin arena. Ross McFarlane definitely improving on this lap. What's his second sector time? Oh, it's down. It's down on his best. But he's still up on his best time. Bashir Jabwat as well, starting a new lap. So we've got danger from in front, danger from behind. Ross McFarlane, final corner. What's he capable of? This looks promising. If he can keep this together on the exit, well, it's not going to be pole, but it's going to get a lot closer. Ross McFarlane, 138.404, just 0.173 off Bashir Jabwat. A great improvement, but he still needs to find 2 tenths for pole position, and he's only got 2.5 minutes to do it now. That's really not much time, especially seeing as he's got a slower car ahead of him now on this lap. Just looking to see where the improvements are going to come from on this lap. There was an improvement in the first sector from Marco Paraconi, but he's lost time in the second sector now. And McFarlane's new lap is slightly down after he got held up by that slower car there. Alex Life, not a great first sector for him either. Josh Martin might improve. No, not a great middle sector. So a couple of drivers who have the opportunity to improve but aren't quite managing it so far. Still interested in Josh Martin. He could still pull something out from this lap. Martin 6th, aiming for 5th. A 10th down heading into the final corner, but this is a corner where you can gain or lose a lot of time. And he gains time. That was good there from Martin, but is it enough? It is enough. It's enough to improve his lap, but not to improve his position. He stays 6th. Marcus Stein improving. He's currently 4th. Ross McFarlane did not just improve on his lap, but he did set the fastest third sector of anyone, as he goes on to his final attempt. Unless that was his final attempt, it all depends on if he has enough fuel and tyres to go for another lap. Stein is about to improve significantly. Does he jump Pontes? No, but it's close. He's less than a tenth of a second off, and he goes to fourth. Well, he is still fourth, rather. He was fourth already. Josh Martin, good first sector from him. McFarlane and Jabwat are both on their last attempts. McFarlane improves in the first sector. McFarlane improves in the first sector. Let's watch this intently. This is his charge for pole. If he can snatch this on the last lap, this will be phenomenal. That's turn 8. Oh, it's all going so well so far, and I really hope I'm not putting the commentator's curse on him. Here's Semaforo. Tight entry, we're not used to seeing that. Looks as if it worked for him. Here's Torrentino. He's been quicker in the second sector before, but this is still a challenge for pole. Oh, loses a little bit of time, loses too much time in the S's. This isn't going to be pole position for McFarlane, and he's backed off. That's it. McFarlane is not going to improve. Neither is Jabwat, Pontes, Stein, or Haynes. Martin backs off too, and that is it for the qualifying session. I don't see anyone who's going to improve, except for maybe Mark Hennebree, although Hennebree is only in 11th position at the minute. Stefan Alfgen also about to improve. And Luca Ragusa apparently was on track very briefly, but didn't set a lap. Mark Hennebree out to the final corner. Does he jump into the top 10? I think he will. Hennebree goes. He goes 8th. A good improvement from Hennebree. And that's it. No one else is going to improve. It's Jabwat first, McFarlane second, Pontus third, then Stein, Heinz, Martin. That's Josh Martin. Vela, Hennebree, Hein, Martin, Michael Martin, Leif, Bentz, Perricone, Jamie, Berkhuizen, and Elfgen, and then Sean Clark makes up the field in 17th position. 17 drivers putting in laps in this session, and it's Bashir Jabwat who comes out on top and sets pole position with a blistering lap of the circuit. We now have to wait just 2 minutes for the start of the race.
So we're going for a short commercial break, and we'll be back with you very And we're back with just 4 to 5 seconds to the start of this race here today with the Ginetta GT4 at Vallelunga. Together with us, as usual, I'm Joshua Penny with his commentating, and Justin together with me, Adrian. I'll be obviously watching the race. Justin is taking care of the technical part of the whole thing and the broadcast. So on to you, Joshua, now for the start of this race in 24 seconds.
Thank you very much. Again, the order is going to be Jabwat, McFarlane, Ponce, Stein, Hines, Martin, Josh Martin, Vella, Hennebury, Heineke, Martin, Michael Martin, not related to Josh Martin, Leif, Bent, Periconi, Jamie, Barkhuizen, Elfgen, and Clark. As away we go when the lights go out. Go! Away we go! And the race has begun at the front of the field. Bashir Jabwat is the race leader at this point in time. Look behind him though, as we're side by side between Ponce on the inside, McFarlane on the outside, and Ponce looks as if he's about to move up into second place. There's very nearly contact between him and McFarlane. McFarlane goes back to the outside. He's looking for the place into the chimney corners, and Ponce takes a slightly wonky line, but gets the second place there. It's Jabwat from Ponce from McFarlane, and behind them has everyone got through safely? No, they haven't. Dean Vella is in the pits. Mark Hennebury is off the road, and someone else is off with him. I'm not entirely sure who, but someone else was off with him. I think it was Stefan Elfgen. So a couple of people went off at the start there, and there's another car off to the outside. Yeah, it was Stefan Elfgen. So a couple of cars hampered at the start there. But Jabwat is leading from McFarlane, from Ponce rather, Ponce, and then McFarlane. And has Stein kept fourth? No, I don't believe he has actually. Has Stein dropped back? In fact, Stein looks as if he's dropped back a long way. So something happened to Marcus Stein that I didn't catch. Ponce had a little look at Jabwat there into Torrentino, and there's a car facing backwards at Semaforo, and it's Chris Heineke. So Heineke has had a spin there, as Mark Hennebury now is in the pits, I'm afraid. So a problem for Mark Hennebury.
Actually, it's something we need to look into in this. There was a car touching Mark Hennebury, so we'll be looking into it after.
Okay, that's a shame. Look at second now. McFarlane tackling Ponce as we go up towards the Curva Grande on lap 2. Periconi up to 5th. My goodness, didn't he start something like 14th? Periconi, he started 13th and he's up to 5th. What a start for Marco Periconi. And what a mix-up of the order. Something big must have happened behind that I didn't see, because it's now Jabwat, Ponce, McFarlane, Leif, Periconi, Martin, Jamie already up into 7th place. Then Michael Martin, Hines, Clark, Barkhuizen, Stein, Bent, Heineke, Elfgen, and still we haven't seen yet Dean Vella. So big problems for several drivers on the opening lap, and a big shuffle up of the order. And Ross McFarlane still looking for that position. Periconi's just been passed. And who was that? Was that Jamie? That may have been. McFarlane now side by side with Ponce, and he's got him. So McFarlane up into second position now, passing Ponce towards the Semaforo corner. He's going to run wide. Can Ponce get him back on the exit? No, he can't. And still the order continues to shuffle. Hines is right on the back there of, not Mark Martin, is that Jamie? That looks to be Jamie. We'll update you on the full order after a couple of laps when it looks a little bit more stagnant, but at the minute it's absolutely shuffling all over the place. Little twitch on the X of the S is there from Thiago Ponce, and he got a little bit out of shape, but he's still keeping it together in that third place. McFarlane getting away from him, and can McFarlane now challenge Jabwat now that he's clear? He looks as if he's going to be closing up. Martin got up to 5th on that lap. Josh Martin, that is. Michael Martin's up to 6th. Jamie 7th. Hines is 8th. And Hines is now challenging Jamie through the Curva Grande. Whoa, you don't overtake there, do you? You don't overtake there, do you? Round he goes. Tim Hines with a very ambitious move. It looked as if Jamie was slowing, but no, Hines took a look, and it's all come to blows. Hines in the barrier and out of the race. So Tim Hines crashes out on lap 3, and that is a shame there. Although I could tell that move was going to come to blows as soon as it started. I think both of them should have been a bit more wise to it at that point. But anyway, Jamie keeps seventh position rather, in a slightly unfortunate way. Chris Heineken out passing Warren Barkhuizen, and Jonathan Bentz goes with him. Actually, that's not Bentz, is it? No, Bentz dropped back a bit. Heineken goes wide on the exit. Was that Marcus Stein? It may have been Stein. Whoever it was a good bit of opportunistic overtaking there. Mark Hennebury is back in the race now, with a lap down. And it's been a bit of a chaotic race so far. It's going to be 20 laps. We're on lap 3. And is McFarlane catching Jabwap? We'll be able to see at the end of this lap. He may well be. As we cross the start-finish line, the times are about to update. Michael Martin getting a little bit sideways through Roma there. And McFarlane did catch Jabwap by 0.2 of a second on that lap there. The drivers all spread out a bit after that lap there. Seems the order is sorting itself out a little bit. And I'll be able to tell you of any order changes as they come through here. Of course, Tim Hines is dropping down in the order because he is out after that accident. And we do have some live stewards on hand here, but I doubt that incident will need it, seeing as Hines has retired from the race. And it's Jabwat from McFarlane, Ponce, Leif, Josh Martin, Michael Martin, Jamie, Perricone, Clark, Heineke, Stein, Barkhuizen, Bentz, Elfgen, Vella, and then Mark Hennebury still in the race, but a long way back. Who am I watching now? It's the battle between Sean Clark, who is being overtaken by... Who's that? Marcus Stein? Yeah, Marcus Stein there, overtaking Sean Clark, but he's going to go wide. And Chris Heineke is going to get him back on the exit. So Heineke gets him back on the exit there. And they're back into the order they were in at the start of this lap. Whoa, big dive there from Heineke. And he forces Clark wide. A little bit forceful. And through as well comes Marcus Stein. Stein to the outside, though. Has to back out of that one. Wisely so. Sean Clark just ahead of him now, holding that 10th position as it will be now. McFarlane takes another 0.2 out of Jabwat. So the gap for the lead still continuing to close, but watch Heineke as he takes a look to the outside of Clark. Not Heineke, Stein. And gets a good run on the exit. That's a very good run out of the corner. And through he goes. Marcus Stein up into 10th position ahead of Sean Clark. Great move there. He's gone through. And up into the top 10 at this point in the race. And that was the key battle to watch at this point in the race. I believe now Stein is going to have a go at Heineke at the first opportunity he can get. He's certainly catching him. And we saw that he had more potential in qualifying, but he was involved in an incident on the opening lap of this race. Dropped a long way back after qualifying 4th, and he's now on a recovery drive back up through the order. And we'll see what the gap is at the end of this lap. At the end of that lap, it was just over a second. Talking of that, what's going to be the gap for the lead? McFarlane taking a much better line through the final corner there than Jabwat, who runs slightly wide. And Jabwat feels the pressure. He pulls over to break the toe on the exit to the corner, and another 0.2 comes out. There's no less than a second between Jabwat and McFarlane for the lead of this race. But as I always say, it's one thing to catch someone and another thing to pass them. So McFarlane and Jabwat are in for a race and a half here. Jabwat certainly feeling the pressure. You saw that as they were going along the start-finish straight. He was really careful of McFarlane in his slipstream. And indeed, Stein is very close to the back of Heineke now as well for 9th position. He looks as if he's going to attack him here down towards Chimney. Goes to the outside. And Stein takes a little look to the outside. Will they attack again on the exit? Here he goes. Yes, he's going through on the inside, and if he can just keep his braking to the right point, there he goes. Marcus Stein leaves his braking later and goes through into 9th position. A clean move. Oh, but he loses it. He loses it on the exit. My goodness, Heineke goes onto the grass to avoid him. Stein has spun the car all the way around. Now he's going to have to spin it back around cleanly, and he does so. And that's a big shame because Stein had just pulled the move and the car got away from him on the exit of the corner. That was a bit baffling there. There was no obvious reason for the car to do so. He was just a bit too eager to get going and lost the car. I'm going to look at the replay. He didn't get over the curb or anything. He just spun. A little bit bizarre rather, but anyway. So, we're just over 10 minutes into this race now. Stein has dropped back several positions. I'll be able to tell you what position he's in at the end of this lap. McFarlane took over 0.2 of a second out of Jabwat on that last lap there. He's now just over 0.5 of a second behind Jabwat, almost half a second in it. So close between the two of them. It's also worth pointing out that Martin is catching Life. Josh Martin catching Alex Life for 4th place. But that's a battle for a couple of laps' time, I can imagine. Marcus Stein has come through in 13th position. So he dropped from 9th all the way to 13th with that spin. He's behind Heineke, behind Clark, Barkhuizen and Bent. He's in 13th position. And his first target will be Jonathan Bent. Up at the front of the order though, Jabwat versus McFarlane and Life versus Martin. Providing plenty of tension at this point in the race. As we are just about to complete lap 7 of this race. Looks as if the race is going to be about 25 to 30 minutes in total if they continue at this current rate rather. Down the start-finish straight, Jabwat pulls over again to break the toe. He's certainly feeling the pressure. McFarlane was catching again on that lap. Takes another couple of hundredths of a second out of Jabwat. Still, the gap closes. Martin as well catching Life. He's now below a second behind him. That's for 4th place. And as we've elapsed just over 12 minutes to the race, Perricone is catching Jamie for 7th. So plenty of action. Jonathan Bent got past Warren Barkhuizen on that last lap. That was for 11th position. So there are a couple of positions even changing outside of the top 10 as well. The order just not settling, and that's great to see. I love races like this, where wherever you look, there's going to be some action happening. There's going to be a move taking place, or a battle about to start. Marcus Stein now on his recovery drive. His first target is Warren Barkhuizen. He goes up the inside, and through he goes. This is where he spun though. He has to be careful on the exit, and he keeps it together. Stein up into 12th position now. Now, onto the start-finish straight go Jabwat and McFarlane. What can McFarlane do about Jabwat? He looks a bit too far back to slipstream him properly. But again, Jabwat pulls over, and again, a 10th comes out. My goodness. Jabwat and McFarlane still chasing. McFarlane on the hunt. And Life and Martin in a very similar situation. This is brilliant at this point in the race. But you don't know where to look. Life's going slightly wide here. Will Martin have an attempt? Not quite, because Life got a good exit. And it's also closing up between Chris Heineke and Marco Perricone for 8th place. Perricone dropping back a bit from Jamie. now being caught by Heineke, who goes to the inside of Chimney. Chris Heineke through to 4th, but can he stop? Through to 8th rather, but can he stop? He runs a little bit wide. That's a little bit of a cheeky overtake there, using all of the road and more on the exit, but he's made it stick. A little bit cheeky though. If I was Perricone, I'd be reporting that. McFarlane right on the back of Jabra. Martin right on the back of Life. On the X to the S's, McFarlane gets a little bit squirrely. But he's still sticking with Jabwa. Did more time come out on that lap? I'd be surprised actually. This is about the point where they start getting so close that there's not really... It's very hard to find time. Yeah, drops back a tiny bit, but really not much. He's still right with him. Right, this is going to be where Martin attacks Life, surely. Well, he's not in the slipstream at this point in time. If I was him, I would have tucked right under his gearbox there. As they cross the line, and Martin may have just wasted an overtaking opportunity there. Towards Chimney. As Heineke now is right on the back of Jamie. Oh, touches him on the exit of the corner. Gives him a little bump draft and goes to the inside. I'm also interested in Martin versus Life. I'm trying to watch two battles at once. Martin taking a look to the outside of Life for 4th position. Trying to force Life into a mistake. Of course, he was never going to go around the outside of him, but he tried to force him into a mistake. Oh, and Jamie Heineke Perricone really close for 7th, 8th and 9th. This is cracking. Life almost stops on the apex there, attempting to get a better exit to Semaforo. He's taking it very slow in, very fast out. That's a good defensive tactic. Does mean that the top 3 are getting away from him, but he must feel that he doesn't really stand a chance of a podium today, and he just wants to defend for 4th. And Josh Martin is really giving him a hard time at this point in time. Jamie, well, Heineke has got past Jamie, so that's a change for 7th when I wasn't looking. Jamie a little bit squirrely on the exit of Tarantino, but not close enough for Perricone to take a look. The gap between Jabwad and McFarlane at the end of that lap, 0.6 of a second, as someone gets out of the way of them, and that's going to be Mark Hennebury, who's had a really up and down race so far. Well, not really any ups. At least he's still running. McFarlane just on the back of Jabwat. I believe Marcus Stein passed Sean Clark on that lap as well. That's for 10th place. So Stein on his recovery drive. His next target is Perricone, but he's 10 seconds up the road. So he's got to find at least a second per lap. And looking at his previous laps, that's doable. Ross McFarlane sets the fastest second sector time of anyone so far in this race. He's launching a real attack here on Jabwat. He wants to be close enough for the slipstream as they go down the start-finish straight. Ross McFarlane putting Bashir Jabwat under real pressure. Crossing the line, less than half a second in it. But still not close enough. He needs Jabwat to make a mistake, and Jabwat knows it. Life and Martin, still nothing between them. And Life doing a great job of defending from Josh Martin at this point in time. Martin, a previous race winner with World Pro Racing back when we were sim racing Malta, and we did the F1 1986 race, and Life is off, and Life is 5th. Martin goes through. Josh Martin up into 4th place now, as Life ran wide and off through Chimney 1. And that's a change for 4th position there. Life did a great job of defending up until that point, but he just messed it up. And Josh Martin got through. No hard feelings for Alex, though. He did a really good job of defending up until that point. And Josh Martin was putting so much pressure on him. Now, between Jabwat and McFarlane, I still think McFarlane must be getting so frustrated because he can't find a way past Jabwat. Whoa, he really showed himself to Jabwat's mirrors there through Roma. That wasn't an attacking line. He was just showing himself to the mirrors there, and that's given him a poor exit to the corner. He's still less than half a second off him, though. Could have been a lot closer. I think he was trying to force Jabwat into a mistake. He was trying to make Jabwat think he was going to go for a silly dive or something along those lines. 20 minutes completed now, and it's Jabwat leading from McFarlane, Ponce, Martin, Life, Martin, Heineke, Jamie, Perricone, Stein. Stein is ahead of Perricone, so Perricone must have made a mistake, because last time I looked, he was over 10 seconds ahead of Stein, and now he's made a mistake, and Stein is through into 9th. Then it's Clark, Barkhuizen, Vella, Bentz, Elfgen, and Hennebury. Hennebury a lap down, 2 laps down now, rather. The close battles at this point in time. McFarlane versus Jabwat for the lead is the closest. Martin versus Life still pretty close, but Martin getting away from Life at this point. Perricone still close to the back of Stein, but Stein will be getting away from him and edging towards Jamie. Jamie, his next target, just about 2 seconds up the road. And Clark and Barkhuizen close for 11th. McFarlane and Jabwat again onto the start-finish straight. McFarlane back into the slipstream. He really likes to tuck himself onto the gearbox of Jabwat's car. Just over half a second in it this time around, though. He must be getting so frustrated because he just can't follow Jabwat. He can't get within 0.4 of a second of him because of the turbulent air kicked up by Jabwat's car. And he needs Jabwat to make a mistake if he's going to challenge him in this race. He's obviously the quicker driver, but he can't quite find a way through. He does, however, hold fastest lap, does Ross McFarlane so far. 1:38.324 is the fastest lap. I don't think we're going to be seeing that one get beaten for the remainder of this race. Now through the left-hander at turn 8. Still, he sticks to his rear end. And Stein is passing Jamie to the inside of Curva Grande, and it works. That's where Jamie came together with Tim Hines on lap 2 of this race, on lap 3 rather, but this one works. I think Dean Vella just dropped a couple of positions. He's now behind Perricone and Clark. I think he was ahead of them. He certainly dropped on that last lap, I think. And yes, Stein did just pass Jamie cleanly. He's now up into 8th position, and his next target will be Chris Heineke. 10 seconds up the road. He'd need Heineke to make a proper mistake for that to improve, though. Ross McFarlane right on the back of Jabwat. He showed himself to his mirrors there. This is McFarlane's attack. Oh, he's so close on the exit. He's so close on the exit. Watch the slipstream. Get in the slipstream. McFarlane right behind Jabwat as they head up the hill. Less than 0.4 of a second off him as they cross the start-finish line. He's not going to dive bomb into Campagnano. That would be really silly at this point in the race. And he runs wide. He runs wide. That's going to cost him a little bit of time there. But he's still right with Bashir Jabwat. Jabwat feeling the pressure. Goodness me. This is so, so close. And if I was Jabba, I would definitely have made a mistake by now. Watching the mirrors, it takes a cool-headed driver to do what Jabba is doing. He's just ahead of Ross McFarlane now, through the left and the right. And now up towards Roma. Here is another slipstreaming opportunity. I see the differing lines coming out that final corner there. Jabba seems to take it wider than McFarlane, just to get that better exit. And it seems to work for him, because that's the point there where McFarlane would be able to attack, and he just can't. And the attack appears to be called off for now. Just over 0.4 of a second separating the two of them. It's still really, really close. And Jabba still can't afford to make a mistake. But it's a lot closer, or it's not close enough for a move. It looked very much like there was going to be something more last lap when McFarlane took a look into Chimney. But nothing came of it. Nothing could come of it. Jabwat still in command, but being hounded. So 25 minutes of this race remaining. We're going to go over half an hour, it looks. And we're just about to complete the 16th lap of this race. So yeah, we will go over half an hour, close to 35 minutes. McFarlane needs to stop steering in for the final corner like that. He's giving Bashir the best exit and the best chance of getting away down the straight. Over half a second off. If McFarlane's going to show himself to the mirror of Jabwat Sky, he needs to do it in the heavier braking zones, like Torrentino, like Semaforo, like Campagnano. But Roma is a no-no because of the exit. Meanwhile, Josh Martin really catching Thiago Pontes. Can he have a challenge at the podium? He will be kicking himself that he didn't get past Life quicker, because he would really have had a challenge at Ponce otherwise. And he's almost a second off him now. So still I'm watching McFarlane versus Jabwa. Also scanning through the order every now and again to see if there are any other battles that might be about to kick off. Although Stein, of course, is running in clean air, he doesn't appear to have anyone coming up. There's a car being lapped now by the two leaders, and that will be Sean Clark, who gets out of the way nicely. Clark running in 14th position. And Stefan Elfgen also having to get out of the way now for some of the cars behind him. The next driver to be lapped by the leaders is going to be Astia. Battle between Barkhuizen and Benz. That's going to be quite interesting if the leaders catch them before the end of this race, because battling drivers are more reluctant to give up time. Now with just 3 laps remaining, can McFarlane get another opportunity at passing Jabwat? It's looking unlikely at this point in time, but my golly, he seems to be trying. Martin made a little mistake on that last lap there. Either that or Ponce is really reacting to his improvement in pace. And I think one of the things that really could shake up this race is if the leaders do come across that battling duo of Bentz and Barkhuizen, because they're not going to want to give up any time. And they're going to be reluctant to get out of the way. So if they catch them, I hope neither of them would get held up, but they might well. Although with the time dwindling in this race, it might not be that they do catch them before the end. So very nearly half an hour into this race. Not much left to go now. We're nearing the end stages, and this battle has raged for the entire race. Ever since McFarlane got back past Ponce, I think that was on lap 2, he's been sticking to the back of Jabwat, not allowing him to get away. And still he hounds him down, but Jabwat just looking unassailable. McFarlane really struggling to get past him, but what a try he's had, what a valiant attempt. And it's not over yet. We've completed 18 laps, there are 20, so he's still got this lap and one more to go. And my goodness, Josh Martin right on the back of Tiago Pontes now. But I don't think he's catching him quite quick enough either. By right on the back, I mean just over a second off. So he'd still need to gain a little bit of time to pass Ponce towards the end of this race. At his current rate, he looks scheduled to, but it all depends on if he can actually get past him or not. Half an hour gone, it's Jabwat leading from McFarlane, Ponce, Martin, Leif Martin, Heineke, Stein, Jamie, Perricone, Vella, Barkhuizen, Bentz, Clark, Elfgen and Hennebury. 16 drivers remaining in this race. We lost one, Tim Hines, after crashing out on lap 3. Out of the final corner and onto the final lap. And the gap for the leaders, the gap between the leaders, it's almost 0.8 of a second now. We still have a battle on our hands, but Jabwat would need to make a mistake for McFarlane to go through here. It's going to be a very, very close finish. Can McFarlane hook anything together on this final lap? Can Martin? Because Martin is now right back on the back of Ponce as they pass a slower driver. Whoa, that was close there. That was Sean Clark, and Alex Leif would have had his heart in his mouth as he went past him there. Josh Martin, rather, would have had his heart in his mouth. But they get past him cleanly, just. Just a couple of corners left to go now for Bashir Jabwat. It's been a really, really tense race. Very, very unpredictable, and there is traffic. And that getting out of the way there is Jonathan Bentz. And they're just coming up on Warren Barkhuizen as well. And they'll be glad that that battle ended before they came upon them. Bentz will need to get out of the way on the exit. That's not good. That's not good. He's holding up Jabwat. He's holding up Jabwat. Watch McFarlane on the final lap of the race. McFarlane on the inside. At the final corner, they make contact. And Jabwat is going to win the race. My goodness. That is one of the tensest and closest finishes I've ever seen. My word. And look at McFarlane there, who runs straight into Warren Barkhuizen, who very nearly turned the race around right at the end. That was amazing. My word, that was so tense. But Jabwat wins it from McFarlane, then Ponce and Martin. But the leaders make contact at the final corner. You never get a race more tense than that. It looked as if it was over until right then, when Barkhuizen almost turned the race around. He wasn't getting out of the way anywhere near quick enough, and Jabwat will be furious at him, but at the same time he will be elated to win that race. And it's Jabwat who wins, followed by McFarlane, Ponce, Martin, Josh Martin in fourth, Leif, Michael Martin, then Heineke, Marcus Stein will recover to 8th, but he will feel he deserved a lot more as well. Jamie is 9th. In fact, Jamie never saw the finish. Yeah, Jamie stopped on track. Did he run out of fuel? I think he may have done. So Jamie will not finish 9th. He seems to have run out of fuel on the final lap. Marco Perricone will cross the line in 9th place in place of Jamie. There he goes, Perricone 9th, Dean Vella 10th. Vella not far off the back of Perricone at the end there. Barkhuizen was classified 12th, so Jamie would be classified 11th. Barkhuizen 12th, Bentz 13th, Clark 14th, Elfgen 15th, and Hennebury 16th. Our only proper retirement was Tim Haynes, who retired after crashing out on lap 3. But what a finish that was, and what a race that was, with the battle for the lead lasting the entire 35 minutes. Utterly, utterly brilliant. Well, I believe we are about to get some interviews taking place. We just need to wait for a couple of people to jump into the commentary box, and our first interview is going to be the race winner, Bashir Jabwat. Bashir, how did you win that? You had so much pressure on your tail, and you were having to defend for the entire race. It was a brilliant show of defense. Talk us through it.
Thanks, man. That was an awesome race from Ross. I was watching my mirror the entire race. I think I looked behind more than I looked in front. But yeah, I just managed to hold it at the end. It was a bit hairy right at the last corner, but
yeah,
just managed it.
And I tell you what, that contact at the final corner, talk us through that. It seemed you were getting held up by Barkhuizen there.
Yeah, just got held up at the wrong spot there by Warren, and yeah, I had to slow down when we normally on the gas. I think Ross was already on full throttle, so tried to leave space, so don't aim for contact. But unfortunately, yeah, we did come together slightly. But it wasn't too bad because the car wasn't too difficult to control. Fortunately, yeah.
What goes through a driver's head when you make contact for the lead at the final corner? That must be one of the most scary things you can do in racing.
Absolutely, the worst feeling ever, I think. But fortunately, it worked out for me this time. But yeah, it's hot in the mouth at times. But yeah, things like this happen in race, so you have to expect it.
Will you be having a stern word with Warren?
Yeah, he's a teammate, so I will be doing that.
Okay. Well, absolutely brilliant win. And you say you like the car as well. What does it take to be quick in one of these cars?
For me, I found it's just maintaining the momentum. So I ran 0 downforce, just keeping up the speeds in the corners as much as I can and maximizing the speeds in the straight. It's got very low horsepower, so yeah, for me it was just all about keeping the momentum through corners, maximizing the speeds.
Well, very well done. Pole position and the race win. Fantastic race from you, and some brilliant defense.
Thanks very much. Much appreciated.
So that was Bashir Jabwat there, our race winner. Second place, and right with him all the way through from start to finish, Ross McFarlane. Hello, Ross.
Hello.
So, Ross, that was really, really tense. You were hampering him the whole way through. How frustrating was it?
It was quite frustrating. I mean, once I got past Thiago, I kind of thought, okay, let's get on it here, let's go. But after about 2 laps, I realised that I was definitely running a different wing setting, and I think Bashir mentioned it there. He was on 0 downforce. I think I was on 2, and the difference on the straight was just every time I got near him out of the last corner, he would be a tenth and a half, 2 tenths ahead by the next corner, and it was just trying to get on the back of him. But yeah, frustrating, but you know, it's a good challenge. I was really trying hard. I enjoy that. So yeah.
Well, it was a very, very good, very close race, and you just couldn't seem to find the overtake. You know, are you disappointed at that? Is there any point in the race where you think, if I'd just been a bit more aggressive there, I could have got him?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of points where maybe he made a small mistake, but Vallelunga is such a tight circuit on that middle sector. There's just not really any way to throw the car in. You don't have the space to allow yourself that kind of move. You have to really be confident to make the move, and you have to have the overspeed and everything. And we were so evenly matched that, yeah, I could be 0.3, 0.2 behind him, and even then I know I can't make an overtake because we're not heading into a wider part of the track, and it just becomes very difficult. So I don't regret not going for anything. I think if I had gone for something, it would probably ended in disaster because of the nature of the track. But I almost had a chance at the end there. Back marker there, giving me a lovely little chance. But then, of course, he hampered me going up the inside. I tried not to hit Bashir. We made a tiny little tap, and then I just thought, well, I'll just let him go. There's no point in trying to make this move when it's not on.
Yeah, it was so close. And I'll ask you the same question as I asked him. What was going through your mind at that point when you made contact with him at the final corner? It must be such a scary situation.
Yeah, I mean, I was more worried about the fact that he got on the brakes very early, and whilst he was alongside Warren, and I thought, what on earth do I do? Because I want to make the overtake, but I've got nowhere to go, and just a little gap opened up, and at that point I was like, oh dear, I think I may have made a mistake going for this. And yeah, you do have a little moment where everything else just disappears out of your mind. It's just that one tiny little bit of focus, and you're trying not to do anything that you don't want to do. Yeah, it's not ideal when you've been lapping hard lap after lap after lap, and you get one chance, and it's a horrible situation on the last corner like that. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to us, and yeah, great race, so close.
Thank you.
So we were going to move on to Tiago Pontes, but apparently he does not speak English. So do we have anyone who can translate, or are we? No. Okay, so we're not interviewing Tiago Pontes. It seems, and that might be the end of the broadcast. I see Josh Martin is asking for an interview. Do we interview Josh?
Yeah, bring him in here.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can find him. There's Josh. All right. So yeah, we also will have Josh Martin as soon as I can. The dragging's being all weird. Okay, I'm kind of dragging him up all of the channels there. He's going to be so confused. Hi, Josh.
Hi.
Hello. Josh, you finished fourth in that race, but you were so close to the podium at the end there. It was a really kind of up and down race from your point of view. Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously qualifying didn't qualify where we wanted to, and then on turn 1 we kind of had an incident coming up towards turn sort of 4. Had a really good battle with Alex, who I've known for a while, and he's always quite fair. So had a really nice battle with him, and then towards the end, as you saw, Tiago and I had a proper battle going on. So
yeah, absolutely. You very, very nearly got him. Are you frustrated? Do you think if only I'd done something slightly differently, I could have got him?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know if you saw it on the broadcast, but I had some issues with back markers. I was feeling a bit Sebastian, screaming for blue flags. But I know Tiago also had issues with back markers, so I think it was maybe just the way the cards fell today. So, no, really good job by Tiago and my teammate Ross, so I'm happy with the result.
What happened at the start as well? You seemed to get involved in something.
Yeah, so I think coming out of turn 3, I was on the inside of whoever was in 4th at the time, just catching up to Ross. And then we were 3 wide, and unfortunately the guy just missed his braking point and took us out. So it was a recovery drive from there. And, I was happy with the pace. I don't think I was ever going to catch the race winner, but that was the long and short of it.
Well, it was very, very close, and a really good drive as well. You were certainly one of the quickest drivers in the field. Will you be doing future sim racing or World Pro Racing events as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, Adrian, Justin, George, yourself, Josh, and the rest of the team there have put on, some great stuff this year. I still remember the first race I did with you guys in the Lotus, so I'm looking forward to 2019 and seeing what you guys are going to do.
Fantastic. Well, we can't wait to have you back. You're a previous winner in this series and always a front runner, so it's really good to see you doing well today as well.
Thank you.
Okay, well that was Josh Martin there, who finished 4th in this race, and he is our last interview for this race. So I've been your commentator, Joshua Penny. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. And I'm going to hand over now to the officials, Justin Mifsud and Adrian Figallo.
So thanks, Joshua. Actually, I would like to thank everybody that has been with us for this year, for this past year, 2018. Thanks to you also for commentating most of our races, and thanks to all the drivers and all our followers that have been giving us the energy to keep on going and planning a bigger 2019. So I would like to wish everybody a happy festive season to everybody. And thanks for being with us for the past months, years, and follow us because we have a lot to give you out to tell you for 2019. The last word from Justin for this year, 2018. He said it in Maltese. So actually, it means that the biggest things are still coming up next year. So thanks for following us. Thanks for being us for this year. Enjoy your end of year celebrations and see you in 2019.
you're coming from. A long road and the money's gone. All the games where you played your part from the very start just to come this far. You should know I believe in you. Every race you run, you're my number one. Kick it up now and bring it on.